A major advantage the DCU gets for their movies, now being under James Gunn, who gave us all of the Guardians movies, that I thought were just great. They really stood out, even as the other movies in the same phase of Marvel received a lot of hate, is unlike the MCU, the DCU, from the very start, owns every single one of their characters. The DCU luckily has an unhindered license to create whatever movie or TV show and use any character or story they want. I mean, I love the MCU, I love what they've done, but one of the weird things is that the MCU, they are still in a battle to get back all of their previous characters that they sold off before they ever decided to do The Incredible Hulk and the first Iron Man movie, and that has led to some disadvantages. But in the DCU, we could finally get to see a live-action Clayface, which is apparently coming. We could see the League of Assassins fight the entire Bat family, alongside whoever the creators decide to add in. And the great thing is, at least out of everything, whether we agree with it or disagree with what they are doing, is there is literally nothing to stop them from adding in any of our favorite characters. A letdown I had with Marvel, and I still do, is the fact that Marvel's biggest character is still not allowed to be in any of their live-action TV shows due to a rights dispute. I, of course, am talking about Spider-Man. Spider-Man is still not allowed to appear, possibly even mentioned by the name Spider-Man, in any of their TV shows. So we will not get to see Spider-Man ever meet Daredevil in the Daredevil Born Again series, The Punisher, or any of the other MCU live-action shows. Spider-Man has to be animated, or else. But on the bright side, the DCU does not have that problem. Warner Brothers, who owns DC Studios and DC Comics, pretty much owns all the rights to all of the DC characters. They haven't really sold away anybody to earn a profit in the past. Marvel has had to painstakingly get the rights back to their most popular characters. The X-Men, the Fantastic Four, Doctor Doom, and since the DCU has all the rights, we now have Crypto. We could very easily have Ace the Bat Hound show up. We are going to get all of the entire Bat family in the new Batman the Brave and the Bold movie that is set to come out sometime in the future, which does seem to be pushing things ahead by quite a lot. I mean, we don't have to necessarily see Batman's origin story all over again. We don't have to see his parents getting gunned down one more time in that alley. However, the fact that Batman is going to be meeting Superman and creating the Justice League alongside the other characters after he's already been through Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, Tim Drake, and now he is on to the fourth male Robin, being his son Damian Wayne, it does seem like we are pushing things ahead quite a lot. I mean, it's nice. It's nice that we're gonna see the entire Bat family. We're gonna see Cassandra Cain, Stephanie Brown, and all of the other Bat kids working together as a team fighting against any number of supervillains, which is really cool. It's just a bit strange for me that Batman isn't going to be meeting Superman in a world's finest type movie that could precede the Justice League during his time that he was being Batman training Dick Grayson as Robin, and instead he has been Batman for an incredibly long time by the time he is now meeting Superman and a world disaster level threat comes in, and now Batman and Superman have to meet Wonder Woman and lead the entire Justice League against whatever alien invasion is on its way. And I get it, James Gunn and the other producers may not want to have to go through all of that. It seems to be giving them a lot more leeway, and I guess just they have all of that out of the way, and now they can just focus on the main characters. Like, it's fine. It's way too early to tell how good or bad the stuff is going to be. So by the time the DCU is going to form their Justice League, everyone at this point is a really seasoned superhero. As we're seeing in the Superman movie, he has and is fighting his major villains, being Lex Luthor. We're probably going to get some Parasite, Brainiac. Batman is just way farther in his career. He is at the point where he has an entire army of superheroes with him in the city. At this point, he has Batwoman, Batwing, Azrael, Bluebird, all of the kids I mean, he is just way past being a solo act and is now the head of a very large Bat family. So at least it looks like the DCU is not being shy at incorporating all of their characters. I guess it could be a good thing that the DCU is starting further ahead in its timeline, given that we may not see Batman actually training Jason Todd and the horrific thing that he goes through with the Joker killing Jason Todd on the big screen. Unless, of course, they do flashbacks. The only thing I guess I agree with is that we don't need to see another Batman origin story. I mean, and sure, for the Superman movie and other heroes like Supergirl, we can have them show up and go through a bit of their origin story. We can introduce new characters as they arrive to the Earth. And on a timeline sense, it makes some sense for the DCU. The fact that by the time Supergirl shows up on Earth, Superman and Batman have been through quite a lot. But the thing that we really want to keep in mind here, especially with all of the DCU, is that Batman and Superman have always set the pace. The DCU, the animated series, the Justice League, everything, always took place after Batman and Superman had been quite a bit into their careers. Batman and Superman both are years into their careers by the time they meet in the world's finest. And at that point, they do know of each other. We have a scene of Superman mentioning to his mom about the Bat guy in Gotham and how cool he thinks he could be, with Jonathan and Martha Kent thinking that he's actually a bit strange. Things escalate, and these two are the first two superheroes to ever meet up. Both of them are far more seasoned than the other members on the team, who are somewhat newer to being illegal vigilantes by the time the Justice League forms. So perhaps similar to the MCU, all of the characters in the DCU have had time to develop into their own persons before a threat large enough to call all of them into action comes into play. I just really find it quite bizarre, and again, it is just way too early to tell that Batman has really been Batman for a much longer time than usual. We are skipping so much farther ahead into his career at the time that he might actually meet Superman. The thing I am really excited about the Justice League, though, is that it would just be great if the Justice League movies happened kind of like the Avengers, where we have these large meetups, these Justice League movies that lead up to an epic Arc 1 finale like Avengers Endgame with Thanos. And of course, then we have the individual movies in between these large Justice League films that set up the large movies and showcase unique villains like Poison Ivy, Clayface, Parasite, perhaps Ares or Wonder Woman, really anyone. And unlike the MCU, the DCU owns all of their characters. They have a free pass to build their entire universe. I personally am hoping, as a fan of all the old series, that they do take a page from the Marvel playbook and stay somewhat true to the source material, the comics. Out of all the Batman material that is out there, Batman has always had a much darker side to himself. The Arkham games, I absolutely loved. The Justice League, where he's a bit more moody, dark, but you can see that he is really there for everybody. But he's not afraid to be a bit darker and speak his conscience when he thinks that the Justice League is making dumb decisions or moving in a bad direction. Batman is the ultimate humanitarian among them, and as a human with no powers, he is a lot more gritty. Because of his past history, he does have a darker side to him, with a lot of hope mixed in. Given that he does seem to lighten up in the years that the Bat family comes about, but Batman still has his true roots of being a bit of a solo act. That while he is hopeful, he does have to be a lot more brutal being a man among gods. And if there's anything that makes anybody feel better who might be afraid of what James Gunn might do with Batman, in the past when I had a ton of speech impediments, I was at my university studying anatomy, physics, genetics. One day I decided to go across to the Denver Center of the Performing Arts Complex to finally fix all of my many speech impediments. My friends went off to party, and I walked into the building to take an intro to voice and speech and theater class. I was so terrified that when I entered the building and got past the security guard, I started making up excuses in my head to give to the security guard as to why I suddenly couldn't take the class and was gonna leave the building and try to get a refund. But I took the class and I ended up staying there taking acting lessons for the next 5 years alongside my science degrees. And the single greatest lesson I learned in that entire time from a very old acting instructor who just blew away everybody else. I mean, this guy directed Shakespeare plays at the Globe Theater, and the thing that he said is that all acting and stories is about RTN. Being relationships transforming now, or relationships changing moment to moment. And that is one reason why I am excited to see what James Gunn will do with it. As terrified as we might be, it's because in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, something that he did so well is that he got the relationships between the characters. He really showed us the strong bonds between all of the characters and gave us a story that made each of the characters constantly change with each other. That really made us walk into the theater and feel something. I mean, each of the characters in the DCU with this really wide open window that they have to do something spectacular in a fully connected universe is each character has their own awesome, incredible villains that would just be incredible to see on the big screen. And they can do it. Heck, they are slated to do it already. We're just a bit concerned about how close to the source material they are going to stay. And they have awesome Justice League level villains. They have their own Thanos, aka Darkseid. They have Brainiac. They have their own celestial beings. I mean, basically Marvel and DC have been at war for a very long time. And any hero or villain that one of them creates that is so cool, the other quickly makes their own version of that exact character. Running down the list, we have Namor, who inspired Aquaman, Green Arrow inspired Hawkeye, Flash inspired Quicksilver, Batman is sometimes cited as the inspiration for Moon Knight, Catwoman inspired Black Cat, Spider-Man inspired a villain version of him inside DC, Superman was copied over as the Sentry, and Deadpool is openly admitted to being a parody of Deathstroke. Then we have the Atom, who inspired Ant-Man, and the list just goes on and on. So the DCU can be amazing. Any character can show up at any moment for any movie or TV show, for any story that they desire that hopefully will make fans rave. Cause for the MCU, I would love to have seen Spider-Man show up in Daredevil or any of the other live-action Disney Plus shows. And seeing the Fantastic Four and Doctor Doom finally come to the MCU, with Doctor Doom being the next major villain who is just so strong that it takes absolutely everyone that Marvel currently owns to stop him, is just fantastic. We just hope that the DCU does their homework and doesn't take these far out creative liberties. Cause if they do it right and they maybe take a page out of Marvel's playbook, it could be time for the DCU to finally step into the spotlight, and that could be really fun for all of us. But if none of this was very interesting, then I saved one fact for last. On this channel, we have gone over many of Batman's most insane features. The fact that Batman practices micro-sleeping, that is the most dangerous sleep schedule on the planet to do. We have one video where we go through everything that it would take for someone to actually be Batman. That is in this video right here. Let me know your thoughts and I'll see you in the next one.